project.
Absolutely.
I gotta get that done. We're running out of time.
What? Just the music time. This is when we can kind of be goofy, you know.
Absolutely.
Except I love this song.
Yeah.
Goosebumps every time I hear it.
We get a lot of compliments on it.
Do you? I love it. I'm glad I mean, thank you for letting me pick this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday morning. That means those two great guys full of information you don't want to miss. A veteran show for all veterans. Welcome Major Andrew White, retired, and Marine helicopter pilot Chuck Wright.
Hoorah! And welcome to another edition of Kilroy's Conversation. Yes, we're going on Air Force time, ish time today, so we're running a little bit late. And we can say that because I'm Army, he's Marines, and, well, the Air Force... They're everyone's sidekick joke.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, it's...
Hey, and I was an Air Force brat,
exactly.
so there we go.
It's all right, you know, it's all
Perfectly
good.
okay.
But you want to what? Veterans can make fun of other veterans, but
Absolutely.
God forbid you be a non-veteran. You just opened up a whole can of worms that you don't want.
You know the difference between veterans and civilians, don't you?
No.
So veterans, they're going to talk trash to your face.
Yep, civilians
But behind
your back.
your back, they got your back.
Absolutely.
Civilians
absolutely.
are just the opposite, man. They're going to say wonderful things to your face and then stab you in the back the first chance they get.
Absolutely.
Now, hold on a minute.
Not all.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, we have a few exceptions.
Yeah,
but-
there are definitely exceptions to the rules in both categories.
Well, both categories. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah,
we know that.
Yeah,
Oh, we could drop some names,
but we won't.
and you know who you are.
We won't do that today.
Today,
Maybe
anyway.
off the show we will, but you
Maybe
know.
that'll be a future show. Maybe we'll have a show where we just unload on some feather merchants because they got a couple in mind. But
That could be your last show.
That could
it
that
could be
will
our
be our
last
last show. But man,
bring it on, baby.
Exactly. You know, what a way to go out big. You know, there you go. Man, we've got a lot of stuff where once again we're in the I call it the heat of the holiday season for I don't know if I want to call it season 1 or season 2 for veterans because we've got 2 seasons in the calendar. We've got May through July is one season where all kinds of military things between Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day.
Really, February.
Well, yes.
Really, February. Yeah.
It goes in spurts.
We start with the invasion, the anniversary of the invasion of Iwo Jima on February 2nd, and it goes through Memorial Day.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. We have an
Unless you want to take it to 4th of July.
Well, I was going to go 4th of July because
in the world, other than Halloween.
For me, it's not only my favorite holiday, but it's also mine and my wife's anniversary. Did you know that?
You know what? Now that you say it, I remember that, and I think that is really stinking cool. Of course, truth be known, my partner in crime over here did that so he didn't forget his wife's anniversary.
Actually, no, there's a good story behind it. My wife
All
said
right, tell us the story.
She wanted fireworks at the wedding. I couldn't afford them any, so I said, let's get married on the 4th of July.
Say you couldn't provide it.
That, too, could be the case, but, you know.
Okay, the show is gone. We're not even 5 minutes in. It's off the rails.
He's got little people going to Michigan State, so I think he figured the fireworks
Yeah,
out.
I figured,
man.
all right, fireworks, 4th of July, it worked. And it was a great fireworks show.
It was indeed a great fireworks show. There we go. Yes, the video was released years. No, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. Katie is going to kill me.
Yeah, she's still asleep right now. She'll catch a show later, so you got a little while.
There we go. You got to like that. You got to like the fact that we can pull our show up. People can pull our show up at any point in time.
Exactly. You know, it's
greatness.
Beauty of modern technology.
I know. What did we do without it?
We live in a great new era.
It's an amazing new era. So.
You know, you got to think about it, though. Now, again, one of our favorite presidents. Can you imagine Reagan in today's day and age? President with all the internet and the cameras and all that?
The great communicator.
Oh, my God. How awesome would that have been?
Yeah, but the flip side of the coin, we just lost the last president because of technology.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things.
Stayed off of Twitter, we'd have been okay.
Exactly. You know,
Sorry,
there are a few factors.
This is not the JP, Kathy, and the Crew show, so we are not going political.
Yeah, but let's just be honest. I mean, Reagan and today, how awesome would that have been?
And the reason Reagan has come up is we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes here because we've got a very interesting show. We've got a couple things that have happened literally in the last week, but a story that has popped up that's just an incredible story.
Oh, I know where you're going to go, but before we go to all that, I got a bunch of knowledge bombs to drop.
All right, drop your knowledge bombs.
We've got some knowledge bombs. All right, first things first, kind of a cool, which in some ways a little bit of segment to where you're going with. Another Medal of Honor recipient that we, now on the 20th of May, 1927, Charles A. Lindbergh flew the Spirit of St. Louis.
Wait a minute. Charles Lindbergh got the Medal of Honor?
Yes, he did.
I did not know that.
Yes, he was a Medal of Honor recipient.
Wow. Mm-hmm. This is news I did not know.
Yes, Charles Lindbergh.
Rather interesting gentleman.
Yep. He received a Medal of Honor recipient.
So this is the date
that he took off
or the date he landed?
No, the day he took off at 7:52 a.m. at Roosevelt Field in Long Island, New York, on the Spirit of St. Louis.
How long did it take him to cross? Does it say? Andrew always does incredible preparation for this show.
33 hours.
So he did not land until the next day.
Yes. He flew 3,600 miles and journeyed to land in, my French is not great, so Lebogit, something like that, Paris.
And once again, we've set French-American relations back a few years.
Decades.
Yeah, really.
And also, ironically, Amelia Earhart, also on that day, May 20th, 1932, was the first female to fly solo.
Okay. That wasn't an irony. That was a coincidence.
Perhaps. But there was another.
I have a pet peeve about the word irony because everybody uses it wrong. In fact, the Alanis Morissette song, right. Do you know the only irony in the song?
What's that?
The title.
Okay.
Nothing in the song is ironic. Isn't it ironic? Nothing in the song is ironic.
It was the 90s. Nobody cared.
Exactly. It was a good
nobody
song,
knew.
though.
Nobody cared. It was great. No, but what's funny is she actually did a sequel to the song.
Did she?
So many people pointed out that do you realize that nothing in there's an irony? And when she wrote it, she didn't. But she did a sequel to it that actually is full of irony.
Okay.
There we go.
A little cultural.
I hate to be the grammar Nazi, and I seldom am because if you've ever read any of my emails, you know I can't spell. Even with spell check, I still screw words up, although spell check is wrong half the time anyway. But no, I am absolutely horrible. So I make no pretense, but irony, for some reason, has always stuck with me. So anyway, but it is very interesting.
Right.
It is fascinating. It is an incredible coincidence that Amelia Earhart soloed on the same day that Charles Lindbergh, a Medal of Honor recipient. I did not know that.
Yes.
So even I learned things on the show.
Exactly. And here's a cool, I don't know if you can call it cool, just really a amazing, and one, if you've not seen either of the movies, highly recommend it. On this day, May 26, 1940, the evacuation of Dunkirk took place. The first
Dunkirk was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
What? Oh.
It was horrible.
I liked it.
It was slow and boring. Well, there we go. It was slow and boring. It's like golf. Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, we won't go into there. But
no, we're going to talk about golf.
But the story of Dunkirk. What an amazing,
incredible story.
I mean, to our British allies,
Oh, my God. And to the British citizens
who rose
up. Who took that is the one part of the movie that I absolutely loved is the one gentleman who goes over with his son and risks everything to pull those soldiers off the beach. And without those soldiers, the British Army would have been gutted.
Absolutely.
Literally gutted.
Dunkirk was a train wreck that miraculously turned out okay at the very, very end at a great cost.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely great cost. Unfortunately, the French army was in fact gutted because they weren't pulled off the beach, and it wound up
I can
ugly
say
for
something
them.
to really put us back in for more decades in American-French relationship, but I won't. I was going to say, you know, the number one export of French military is a white flag, but you know.
Ladies and
another
gentlemen,
shot at-
thank you for tuning in to the last French episode of Kilroy's Conversation.
Yeah, we make a lot of jokes about the French, but I have a personal
Go for it.
knowledge bomb to go. So, if you remember back in the massive tidal wave that happened after the earthquake that wiped out Malaysia.
Okay.
So my brother was on his way. It was one of his trips to the sandbox, and they were deploying. And the Marines deploy, and they call it an ARG, amphibious ready group.
Right.
And so there were 3 ships, a big LHA, which is the helicopter carrier, and then 2 sister ships. One of them's an LPD, which is landing platform, dock or deck or something like that. I don't get how the Navy does all of that stuff. That's the one branch of the service we don't have any tie to on this show. Is the
Right.
Navy. Well, the Coast Guard.
Right.
We don't have a real tie to the Coast Guard.
Or Merchant Marines.
That's true. In time of war, they
Yeah.
are in fact one of the armed services.
Actually, before you
so
go there,
anyway,
I was-
don't get me
All
off
right,
on
I'll let you
do
go,
that.
then
You're
I'll-
tangenting.
What?
Michelle
Never
will
happened
yell
on
at me.
this show.
Never
Never
happens
happened
on
on
this
the show.
So my brother is on board, and he was, I want to say he was the operations officer for the battalion. And I believe, yes, that was the deployment he made with now General Furness. And anyway, one of the things they did as part of humanitarian aid, and this would have been the 3rd time he was involved in a humanitarian mission that popped up on the fly, but they turned the ARG towards Malaysia and offloaded all of our supplies, all of our heavy equipment, everything that they could. And he said that the army that was there were the French.
All right.
And he said the French were great. He said
They are, you know, and we joke, and again, just like in the military in services, we also joke as our counterpart, you know, allied countries services, because it's a lot of fun when you do
is France
join.
still an ally?
I'll double check.
Kind of a name only.
Yeah, I'll do a
They're
Google
not
search.
much of an ally.
You know, well,
That was kind of a political statement.
it depends.
And quite frankly, I really don't care.
But you know,
Anyway, so my brother Don was praising the support that they got from the French, and he thought they were very effective, very efficient at what they were doing. Granted, it was a humanitarian mission. So it wound up being a little bit different. And I'm curious, I wonder if he rated a humanitarian medal for that. There's actually a medal you get.
there
when
is.
you,
I earned one.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's very interesting. Now, tell me that story right quick, because I just wrapped up the story about Uncle Don, who's not listening anyway.
The Humanitarian Service Medal is conducting so many hours / mission in support, the military support of civilian effort. Mine was earned during Katrina.
Oh, very
Right.
nice.
So, you know, the Texas National Guard, they were called up in support of, you know, Operation Katrina and helping out, you know, civilians and citizens over in Louisiana, dealing with all the flooding, past hurricane, all that. And that was my Humanitarian Service Medal.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm trying to think of the word. I've lost the word, but basically an excellent medal to earn as you are actually serving your fellow man.
You're serving now your fellow man, your community, your country in a way that is viewed in the military as non-traditional. You know, most people would assume our military services overseas serving them as opposed to helping right here at home, and that is exactly what we did.
And it's interesting. We are going to come back to the Texas National Guard. It ties in
Exactly.
to 2 stories that we're about to tell. Both of them are very interesting.
But before we even go there, I was just going to hit you up
Go-
with one
okay,
little trivia.
go ahead.
One little
One more
thing.
trivia bomb.
Sorry, it's in my head. I can't get it out, you know? Yeah, exactly. All right, we're
Let
talking
the
about
jokes begin.
Well, it's not actually even a joke. It's a test on your knowledge.
No. I was talking about your comment about something being stuck in your brain.
Yes, exactly. We know very few things stay there. You know, it's definitely a
it's a
black hole
raucous
and
show.
void. All right. We're talking about the Merchant Marines.
Yes.
All right. Now, as we said, they become part of the military in time of war. What is I don't know, and I may be using the wrong terminology.
You're asking me a question and you don't know the answer to it.
No, I do know the answer. On the smokestack, I guess that we call it smokestack on the ship.
Smokestack, yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure I'm not misquoting it, but you know what I'm referring to. On the what difference between a U.S. Navy vessel and a Merchant Marine vessel? What color pattern is on the top?
I have absolutely no idea, nor can I read signal flags.
Well, it's not even a signal flag. There's a solid blue stripe on the top of the mast for a Navy. If it's a Merchant Marine ship, it's a solid blue one followed by a solid yellow one underneath it. That's what differentiates them.
Sounds more like the cavalry colors.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
One of our colors, yes. Yeah. Which will go into a show because I know you've got stuff. And that is it for my knowledge bombs today.
So are you out of knowledge bombs? And Kathy, is this what our viewers can see?
They're about to.
Okay, cool. We've lost the TV that controls the show.
So we may be looking back at the screens that we're not supposed to be looking back at. But
the problem is we don't know if what's on what we call our back screen is the same as on our front screen. So the lovely Miss Kathy.
Why, thank you.
And I'm still trying to find a picture of you doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh.
Because Myers hasn't posted his pictures. So we had, for those who weren't listening last time, we had two events. Last week, we had the dedication of the North Texas Gold Star Family Monument Project, which was in Frisco Commons, and I'm going to mention this again at the end of the show because it's an invitation for everybody who's near the headquarters of America's team, and we're going to talk about Amber Zuckerman in just a minute because she is the CEO or the executive director. Excuse me, let me get the titles right of the Medal of Honor Museum. But before we get to Amber, so on the she chastised me because they're out in Arlington, and I said that, well, I'm in Frisco, which is the home of America's team, and she said, well, it's the headquarters because she's in Arlington, Texas, where the Death Star is.
You want to what?
What?
She is correct.
What?
That is the headquarters here.
Yeah.
The home is there.
Oh,
she is technically speaking.
Technically, yeah.
But see, that makes no sense. They only play football games there, and they only play about 12 of them a year. They come to Frisco every day. This is the home of America's team.
Okay, let's throw this in. What about when it was in Irving? Like, I've never understood. Like,
no one ever called Irving the home of.
I'm old enough to remember back in the day where I lived in Richardson, just like right across the street from Richardson in Dallas at like the LBJ, Skillman, Audelia area.
Yep.
Right off of Forest was the Cowboys practice field.
Yes.
Because my dad would take my brother up there to watch the 70s
The headquarters,
Cowboys.
and I have a client of mine who offices in the old headquarters.
Yeah.
The headquarters was down off Mockingbird, and then after they moved out to Irving, became the Playboy Club. Do you remember that?
Oh,
nope, Kathy's
I will
nowhere
not confirm
near.
Or deny.
Kathy's nowhere near old enough, although at 16 years old and a little high school cheerleader, she did, in fact, masquerade as a bunny a few times. So but we're not going to tell those stories.
That was actually not until college.
Was that where you learned to smoke cigars? No, I can't go there either.
College. Politics drove me to cigars.
Yeah, there we go. So, and I'm sorry, there's some inside stories, jokes there, and we're kind of being silly.
That's all right.
We're an absolute mess on the show. But anyway, we were debating where was the home of the Cowboys.
Viewers can see this.
Viewers can see this.
All right.
Okay, let's jump into, and I'm going to come back and we'll talk about Amber Zuckerman because I actually learned something on this show that was pretty cool, and we're going to talk about. We've had a thing for Medal of Honor recipients, and one of the reasons we do is because we have so much respect for them. And what you can see now is a picture of William Bill Caldwell, as he was known. And Bill Caldwell was a very interesting man. He was with the 36th Infantry Division in Italy.
Arrowhead.
Arrowhead
Division.
The Arrowhead Division. Okay. And Andrew's going to chime in here in a minute and talk a little bit because we're going to make this a little bit about Texas, interesting enough. Although
odds are we talk about Texas. What are the odds? Come on.
What are the odds? Bill was from Pueblo, Colorado, which is not far from Colorado Springs, which is where the story is going to wind up. But in an infantry engagement, and Bill was rather heroic. but in an infantry division in an infantry engagement, excuse me, although it was division. But anyway, moving on. He was rather heroic in his actions, which every Medal of Honor recipient is, but he was also captured. And for some reason, the Germans were pretty good about releasing the names and letting the Americans know who they had captured. And it's an interesting contrast to the war in the Pacific, where there were virtually no prisoners of war taken on the battlefield. Now, there were a huge number of Americans captured and Filipino soldiers captured at Corregidor and that were in the Bataan Death March. But for the most part,
it was a different era. I mean, remember, the Japanese viewed surrender as the ultimate insult / dishonor of the
dishonor is really the word.
Yeah, they die in a sword before you die captured
right.
was their...
And that left... But anyway, the point we're making is it was a pretty big contrast. But nobody knew he was a POW. For some reason, his name wasn't released. And that may have been communication at the time.
He was listed as KIA.
He was KIA, and he was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously. We have struggled to figure out how to say that word.
Posthumously.
There we go. I obviously can't say that word. So it was very interesting that he would go on. He would be released after the war, and he would be repatriated. He stayed in the Army and retired as a master sergeant. And he went home to Pueblo, Colorado, and he took a job. And I mentioned Colorado Springs. He took a job at the Air Force Academy. And guess what his job was?
A janitor.
He was a janitor. So we talk about, and we have talked about, and in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten to meet another Medal of Honor recipient.
Also from Colorado, or used to live in Colorado.
Pardon? That's right. Sal used to live in Colorado. He's originally from Iowa, but he used to live in Colorado.
Iowa City, Iowa, if I'm not mistaken.
Might be. And Sal Junta, again, is one of the humblest, nicest guys you would ever want to meet.
Hands down.
Absolute first-class individual. And so this is continuing this trend of what we are talking about as our Medal of Honor recipients are, for the most part. There's a few of them that aren't. But that's okay. Hey, you want the Medal of Honor, you damn near can do anything you want in my book.
Basically walk on water, those guys.
Pretty much. So what did Bill Crawford do? He retires from the Army and he takes a job as a janitor. And this was in an era. This was in the 70s. It was an era when America still had a little bit of a caste system. And it's funny, people want to talk about that being a racial divide, but I've never thought of it that way. Of course, I don't think like most people. But it was really more of a caste system. And for the most part, the cadets, while they were perfunctorily polite to him, didn't pay him any attention at all until one cadet, and it's a cadet who would wind up retiring from the Air Force as a full colonel, and I apologize, I've forgotten his name, was doing some research, and he found the name William Caldwell. Now, he went by Bill. And the age was right and the time was right, and I think they knew that he had been in the Army, but that at that point in time and served in World War II, pretty much everybody in America had been,
at that, if you were an able-bodied male at that point in time, it would not surprise anyone to have been a veteran of World War II in no way, shape, or form.
So I'll finish the story. So basically the cadets approached him and said, "Sir," and obviously with a level of respect they had never treated him with before, but, "Sir, is this you?" And very quietly he said, he's a very quiet man. "Yes."
And then went on his business.
No big deal. I did a job. I moved on. I retired from the Army. No big deal. And amazing, he is employed at the Air Force Academy. Nobody bothered to check his DD-214. One of those little details. And so instantly, he is revered, obviously. He is adopted kind of as their mascot. I believe he was promoted out of his janitor job but I think he became like supervisor of the janitors. I'm not 100% certain, but a very proud and humble man. And so along about 1980, and let's throw up that next picture, and one more picture. So long in the 80s, somebody was talking to him, and they asked him about the ceremony. Did you get to meet the president? He said no, because it just didn't work out.
They gave it to his father, I believe.
Yeah,
correct?
I think so. Because when he earned the Medal of Honor,
He was listed as KIA.
he was listed as KIA, so nobody knew. So they had Dutch Reagan, President Reagan. For those
Gipper.
who've listened to the Gipper, for those who have listened to the show, know that I think most of us hold Reagan in the highest of esteems. He was my president when I served, which shocked some people recently. They're like, "Damn, you're old." I said, "Yeah, Michelle keeps me looking young." I love the fact that most people don't know how old I am when they look at me.
You married very wisely.
Yes, I married very wisely. Yeah, it's all a tribute to my wife. Sorry, going off on a tangent, but in 1984, at the graduation of the Air Force Academy, President Reagan, how do you say it?
He paused the
Bestowed
graduation.
upon.
Yeah. Well, he bestowed.
Bestowed.
But what he did was
Bestowed.
he paused the ceremony and used that time to specially recognize him as a Medal of Honor recipient from the president. Because previously, like we stated in the show, he was awarded the medal posthumously, and his father had received the medal from...
That's right.
Was it Truman, I believe?
Must have been Truman by that point in time.
Well, no, if it was 1940, it would have been Roosevelt.
Well, we don't know when that
okay,
when that
great
occurred.
point.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Truman, Roosevelt
Yeah.
era.
But what an incredible honor for this very, very humble man.
Mm-hmm.
Just the story that sends chills down your spine. And, of course, part of that is, no small part of that is the respect that we both have for Medal of Honor recipients and the respect that we have for Ronald Reagan. And shout out, too, speaking of which, and I've got to tell a story, we're going to go off on a tangent, that has nothing to do with this other than the fact that our good friend, Tan Parker out there, happy birthday, Tan. It is his birthday today. Was an intern on Ronald Reagan's staff. True story.
Excellent.
There are a lot of things I hate about Tan Parker. He studied at the London School of Economics. He has been published as an outstanding book that is a collection of essays on how to fix
guessing
governments.
you probably have an autographed copy, first edition, in your library.
I do not.
What?
I
Tan,
do not.
You do realize this is the first time we've talked about a book that Chuck does not have an autographed first edition in his library that rivals the Library of Congress. I bet you Congress has one of those.
I'll bet they do. And I bet Tan even autographed that one.
Man, we need to...
Since I got a copy of the book, Tan has been in session. The Texas House or Texas Congress has been in session and doesn't wrap up until this week, Kathy?
Yep.
They
Signy
wrap up
dies
this-
in just a few days.
So, sorry, completely off on a tangent there, but we were tying that back to Reagan, and I wanted to give Tan a shout-out on the air. I've already sent him a text. But we're going to lunch. He said we're going to lunch as soon as session's over and he's back, and he gets a chance to decompress a little. We'll grab lunch and catch up and listen to some stories.
It's been an interesting session.
By golly, he will be signing my book. And it's just really cool. I've got a picture of a very, very young Tan Parker.
Tell him I said hello, and after the show, off the air, I have a Tan Parker when he was first elected. He and I were friends in Young Republicans back in the day. I've got a great gubernatorial inaugural ball story about Tan.
I
love it
to
too
hear
much
that.
to say it on the air, but I'll say
Okay.
it off.
It sounds good.
So we're getting a lot of off-the-air stories about Miss Kathy. Oh, sorry, that was a completely
No, this is
wrong
about
tangent.
somebody else.
We're
I
not.
was
We're
just
not
there,
going
Jim's
there.
Yep.
But that, by the way, this is not insulting to Kathy. Kathy was the one who told this joke. So anyway, we wanted a little bit of a shout out to Bill Caldwell. Yep. I wanted it for the show because it was just a great story. There's a lady named Tara Ross that my wife put me onto. There he is as the janitor, and they've actually got a portrait of his Medal of Honor hanging at the Air Force Academy. And when he passed away, he was in fact buried at the Air Force Academy Cemetery.
He is the only non-Air Force enlistee to be buried at the Air Force Academy.
There we go. Nice knowledge bomb.
Yes. And he was given an honorary degree from the Air Force Academy.
Very nice tribute to our friends at the Air Force Academy.
You know, class act move for a class act individual.
Now, the story takes a little bit of a Texas turn here, and my partner in crime is going to share that part of the story. I mentioned he was with the 36th Infantry Division.
Arrowhead Division.
Take it away.
The Arrowhead Division is the Texas Army National Guard, who had an extensive role in both the Battle of Anzio and in the battle where Mr. Crawford received his Medal of Honor. Texas was very much involved in the landing in Anzio and moving up through Italy.
Very nice, very nice. So, the other news that kind of trumped my idea from, sorry about that. That was kind of a little bit of a pun, but that's okay. I have no problem giving props to Mr. Trump. The other story that popped up this week was that a Korean War veteran.
And Vietnam.
That's right. Yes. That's right. And another gentleman who would, in fact, retire from the Army. And this is a shout-out to my friends like John Antal and J.P. Hogan. Rangers lead the way, baby. David Seal.
And he definitely led the way, this individual we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Rob Altman was a Ranger.
I don't know.
You know, usually those Rangers, they're very quick to let you know.
Yeah. Rangers lead the way.
You know what? I think he is. I think there is a Ranger tab he'd given me as poker chip. And part of my other collection is challenge coins, but a lot of guys are going to the poker chips because they're a little cheaper, which can't say that I blame them.
Yep.
Actually,
today's
very
day
cool.
and age, yeah, why not?
Yeah. So it had been years, and I'm going to let you kind of lead the. I don't know how much of it you know. Do you know where and when? Let me do that part, and then you can talk about. So we're going to talk about Ralph Puckett, and very much thanks to John McCain. So one of the problems you have, and let's stop for a second. We're going to segue back. The Medal of Honor process can be political is not the right word, but they try to make sure
sensitive. It's very
sensitive. Yeah, it's. The whole medal process can be a little bit of a mess. Now, the one thing that I will say, I'll say two things, because there's a gentleman out there who has generated this campaign of terror against Woody, and it's absolute crap. And I've actually done the research and documented, and he's never going to sue me. Because he can't claim slander because the truth is complete defense of slander, and he's flat out lied in his book just to try to sell a few copies. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why he hates Woody. He has had the cops called to his house for domestic violence on a domestic violence call, so maybe that's it, and that may explain.
Hey, some people are delusional.
Yeah, may explain why his wife finally divorced his worthless butt. There are probably 3 times as many people who deserve a Medal of Honor, but who have not earned it. Now, generally speaking, they have earned, be it a Distinguished Service Cross, one of the crosses, Navy Cross, Air Force Cross.
And keep in mind, and I heard this, and I'll use someone that we know in the show, James Magellanis, Maggie. Everyone knows his story right here.
I don't know the story.
Maggie Magellanis, we lost him at 103. Died last March. Skyball always recognizes him for the Magellanis Award.
I'm not rich enough to go to Skyball.
He is to date still the highest
a seat.
the highest decorated member of the 82nd Airborne Division.
Okay.
From right here, Texas. And they say, and more often, the difference between the Medal of Honor and the Service Cross is usually the way someone had written up the story. Because there are... In fact, I served in the Army with a Marine from Vietnam. He was a private who earned the Navy Cross.
Wow.
And if you we lost him a couple years ago, William Byrd. If you read his story, in Vietnam, he went in, took fire, received, shot up many times, back and forth 3 times to go pull injured Marines off the battlefield.
Very cool.
And they said, and rightfully so, he received the Navy Cross. When you hear that story, you look back, well, I know Medal of Honor recipients that did similar gallantries and received them. Again, it comes down to who wrote the story, how, we're not taking away from one or the other. It
absolutely
just
not. Just
sometimes
know
comes
if you
down
see
to-
somebody wearing, generally speaking, a Silver Star, a Navy or any of the crosses, because there's a Navy Cross, there's a Distinguished Service Cross for the Army, the Navy Cross is for the Navy and the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard, and then there's an Air Force Cross.
those guys are.
And then there's a Distinguished Flying Cross,
Right.
which is across all services.
Yep.
Which is the award that I always wanted. If I was going to have one, believe it or not, I think I would almost rather had a Distinguished Flying Cross because I was a pilot than a Medal of Honor. Although, certainly, when I read the stories of what these people do, I always wonder, could I do that? Would I be in the same boat?
You know what? The answer to me, I think, would be yes, because at this point, and every Medal of Honor recipient I ever talked to said the same thing. At the time of those actions, you're not thinking, you're doing. Muscle memory actions take place.
What they've done, and you talk about above and beyond the call of duty.
They are.
Which is the standard for the Medal of Honor.
Absolutely.
Above and beyond the call of duty. And
Straight
they
there.
have hit it to a T. Anyway, so we're kind of getting off on a tangent, but I will say this about Woody. Just so there's no question in anybody's mind, it is a very big deal to me. The accusations were made that he didn't deserve it. Well, let me say this. His company commander who
Plain
did the
and simple.
write-up thought he deserved it. And even in World War II, they did not just pass out Medal of Honors. There were less than 25 given on Iwo Jima. There could have been 50,
Or
maybe
more.
100. So his battalion commander, who looked at the write-up, who didn't know Woody from Adam, endorsed it because he thought he deserved it. So regimental commander, division commander, at that point in time, the 5th Amphibious Corps commander, and I used to know the names of all of these people. And everyone, it was very interesting as I was doing the research, every one of these gentlemen was wearing some impressive, as we say, fruit salad. These are men who knew what it was like to be heroic in the face of enemy fire.
Yeah. And
Many of them dating back to, for the Marines, to the Banana Republic Wars, but all the way back to World War I. And so this went to Admiral Nimitz. Now, in fairness, Admiral Nimitz did not endorse the award. There was one piece of paper that they were looking for that was eventually deemed non-essential, which kind of makes sense. It had been endorsed at so many levels. But what Admiral Nimitz did, if Admiral Nimitz didn't think his Medal of Honor was worthy, he would not have sent it to the Naval Board of Awards. And the Naval Board of Awards, per the Secretary of the Navy, was the final judge. So a lot was made that the Commandant did not endorse the award. That is technically a true statement. The Commandant was not in that chain. Once it passes the Naval Board of Awards and is signed by the Secretary of the Navy, everybody has blessed it. The gentleman who sat in charge of the Naval Board of Awards wore 2 Navy crosses for 2 different actions in which his ships had taken fire and he was captain of a ship. This is a man who understood the requirements for the awards, who knew the difference. Not some feather merchant who didn't even get out of TBS. And I hope he's listening, and I hope you use this. And, dude, I hope you come after me because I will love to just eviscerate you. Sorry. This is deeply personal for me. This person has tried to destroy Woody Williams' legacy. And the sad thing is he's done it with lies, and I can prove it. I mean,
And the bottom line is you meet Woody, you hear his story. Anyone worth a one single grain of salt will tell you, Woody earned it.
Woody earned it.
Yeah, there's no.
And you know what's funny in this book? He admits that. There is no question that Woody strapped on a 70. He's 130 pounds, at best on Iwo Jima, 5'4", strapped on a 70-pound flamethrower.
No, strapped on a 70-pound bomb.
Yeah,
Keep in mind,
basically, yeah.
one
round, and
one
he's-
round, him and everyone
and he's a
around him
fireball.
is Dust.
He went with 4 Marine riflemen, and he can tell you every one of their names, including the 2 that didn't make it back. And he will get tears in his eyes saying their names. This is how much he cares about those men. And he went on and took out multiple Japanese pillboxes to allow the tanks to move through to secure, I believe it was the southeast end of runway number 2. There were actually 3 runways on Iwo Jima, and that was the reason we were invading, is to be able to provide fighter cover for the B-29s going in to bomb Japan. So anyway, I've gotten a little bit off on a tangent, but obviously this is a story that's very, very personal to me. But one of the things that history allows us to do, and in this case, I absolutely love the fact that this Korean War veteran, who would also be a Vietnam veteran, who would retire as a full colonel, who was, I believe, given the Army's Distinguished Service Cross,
and it is
for his actions
shown in his portrait over there of all of his decorations, and you can just look at that chest and say, "Yep, this is a guy who."
So the top 2 are the Distinguished Service Cross,
the Silver
from
Star,
left to right, and then the Silver Star.
And
so
keep in mind,
these are for separate incidents, by the way.
Not only that, but
there's,
if you notice on there, he has 4 Purple Hearts. For those who can't see, you got to understand the annotations. And I know in the Marines, you guys wear stars instead of oak leaves, correct? For multiple awards?
yes.
All right.
Well, when you reach a certain point, there's a bar or something that's put on.
But
they put
it's
a
the
star
same
on it.
thing. We just have different, I don't know what you put on there, but
Badges and bangles.
same thing, different.
Badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
But if you look at his chest, he doesn't just have 1.
Yeah.
He has 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, 2 Silver Stars, 2 Legions of Merit, 2 Bronze Stars with Valor, and 4 Purple Hearts. You know what? I would challenge just about anyone to tell me that this individual did not.
And I'm going to do a slight tangent here. So on his Bronze Star, he has actually received 3 Bronze Stars. One of them was, so the Bronze Star can be both a combat medal, unlike the Silver Star or the Crosses or the Medal of Honor. The Bronze Star can be both for combat operations and non-combat operations.
But it has to be within inside a combat theater.
I did not know that,
Yes.
but that makes sense. So my brother has a Bronze Star, but it does not have a combat.
And that's where the V device comes in.
And that's what the V device means. And the Legion of Merit is one of those that can go either way.
Correct.
It's flexible. We like to say flexible. We don't like to say that other word. But it's a flexible medal. My brother has earned a Legion of Merit. And interesting enough, in the Marine Corps, Legions of Merit are generally an end-of-career award. My brother's still going. He came off the Warfighter when he left the Warfighter Institute to go over to be Chief of Staff at Quantico. He had earned the Legion of Merit for outstanding staff work. He had a great resume of outstanding combat leadership, although he does not wear a combat action ribbon. The Marine Corps is a little tighter on passing out medals. But anyway, I wanted to tell the story about the Combat V because it is important on certain awards. You will never see it on a Silver Star. It doesn't need to be there, or on any of the crosses.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself in that case. So you can see this is a Ranger, first lieutenant, and he was commanding the 8th Ranger Company on Hill 205 in Korea. And this was in 1950. So this is very early on in the war, where it was after the landing at Incheon that MacArthur had pulled off. MacArthur's last really brilliant move, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then from there, I think MacArthur read too many of his press clippings, because then he would make a tactical mistake that would forever change the world, because it allowed the communists to retake North Korea. And had he not done what he did, had he listened to his intelligence, I don't think he'd have screwed up that badly. But
and
anyway,
if he did not piss off Truman
Well, but all of that ties together.
Yep.
All of that ties together. Anyway, the point being, in 1950, he led his company as a first lieutenant of Rangers on a battle for Hill 205, which was north of the 38th parallel, but not real far north. Anyway, as we were fighting north and the battle went back and forth, he would earn his first Distinguished Service Cross. But people like John McCain and some of the Ranger Mafia, we'll call them for lack of a better term, realized that this gentleman truly deserved the Medal of Honor. And it is the kind of process that you can appeal. And I am very, very pleased that the appeal process finally won out, and unfortunately John McCain was not alive to see it, but that Ralph was. And as I mentioned, this is a gentleman who continued to serve even though he did not receive the Medal of Honor at the time. He continued to serve, and as the fruit salad shows, he served really well.
Yes, he did.
Served really well. Retired as a full colonel.
The word hero in this case is certainly not overstated. I mean, this is a walking, talking, breathing legend. And he is well overdue of this award. Now, here's another thing that is very rare. Very rare. Wow. If you notice on his chest, he has a CIB, the Combat Infantry Badge. But most people don't notice there's a little extra on his badge. The star.
What does the star mean?
The star symbolizes he earned it in 2 military conflicts.
Wow.
It is extraordinarily rare to see a star over a combat infantry badge. I mean, it just adds to the lore of this individual, his dedication to service, his men, his military career. It's better late than never.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely
very well deserved that this individual has been recognized for his actions on that day. You know,
Ralph Puckett, you join a group of people, and I don't think there's any question. This is a club you belong to, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope I get a chance to meet you soon. Hey, I just now noticed we've been prattling on and on and on and telling our stories, and we are almost out of time.
Yes.
So one of the things that I want to talk about, and I am grateful that Ralph Puckett is alive, but Memorial Day is coming up.
Yep.
And I want to talk about something, and my producers here and my partner in crime on the show have both created their own teams for Carry the Load. I want to encourage all of our listeners. There is no cost to join. There is no obligation. You don't have to do a dime worth of fundraising, but join the team. And be it the Warrior Golf Team or be it JP Cathy and the crew, hop on the team. We're going to build this. This is the first year that we've done that. There we go. This is the 10th year of Carry the Load. And what Carry the Load's mission is twofold. The first of which is to restore the true meaning of Memorial Day. The second of which is to support the organizations that support our veterans, that support our first responders. And I can't think of a better mission or something I'd more rather be involved with. I have been a load carrier, which means I've raised at least $200, and I have scored a T-shirt. We get a T-shirt.
Which, by the way, I got mine yesterday.
Okay, no. That's a T-shirt you bought.
Oh.
Okay. The load carrier T-shirts are different. You can buy T-shirts from Carry the Load. You can buy golf shirts from Carry the Load. I'm trying to earn a golf shirt this year for my team, and you're welcome to join my team too. But I'm really trying to grow the Warrior Golf Team because this is the team, and I'll let you talk about that organization, and JP Cathy and the Cruise team, and I've been on already. I'm going to be on this week. I'm really, really hoping. I'm trying to put some peer pressure on them to really push this week. Plenty of time to still join. But I have been a load carrier since 2014. And I take a lot of pride in that. This gives me a great opportunity. And when they ask who you're carrying, I tell the story of Lieutenant Don Woolly Bear Willett. He is a Marine, one of 241 Marines we lost in Beirut in October of 1983. I know it seems like ancient history. It still hurts. It still hurts.
Well, I can say a little bit about my group. We'll be out there, the North Texas Warrior Golf. We'll be there, and not only are we happy to be part of this organization, be part of Carry the Load. And Chuck and I, you and I have walked many, many miles.
Many times.
On Carry the Load. Always enjoy walking with you. Always enjoy, when I say the word enjoy, I'm not saying it as hoo-hoo party. I enjoy and respect the camaraderie of the individuals that are there, the groups that are there. I kind of look forward, in some cases, the only time of the year I get to see something, but it is a great feeling to be amongst those 25, 30,000 plus people that show up.
All of our closest friends.
Yeah. and it's really true when we say that.
It's truly uplifting.
They recognize, a lot of folks look, it's like, hey, that one time a year I get to see these folks. Yeah. And that's awesome. And it's like you haven't left it. I mean, the memory from the previous year is still there. And we rehash stories. Oh, do you remember last year when this happened?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It is truly amazing. And like with North Texas Warrior Golf, we're an organization that, well, yes, it may seem like we're having a whole lot of fun playing golf. We are. But more importantly, we use golf as a vehicle to get with service members, to reintroduce them to the camaraderie that they had while in service, and talk about different things, different issues. Because when you're playing golf, you put yourself in a golf cart with me and some of the other I'm going to say old seasoned veterans like myself out there. 4 to 6 hours in the golf cart with me, we're going to talk.
You're going to do some talking. By the way, Andrew's team is simple. It's Warrior Golf. I didn't realize, and my bad, I'm kind of a rookie at this. So we got JP, Kathy, and the crew set up correctly, but I screwed up a couple of others, so I fixed them. There will also be an alliance for the Brave team that it will be run by Diane and Jim Blythe. Jim is a Navy veteran and was in the same squadron with John McCain. Yes. He knew John McCain and several others. They had 4 of their pilots. They had 7 of their pilots killed, and 4 of their pilots were residents of the Hanoi Hilton. And that's still a painful memory. But I want to wrap this up by talking about Memorial Day. And we talk about restoring the true meaning of Memorial Day. For a lot of people, it's just a day off. And it's family barbecues, and it's the Indy 500, and it's this, and it's that, and it's the other. But people forget this is a day. We honor all of our veterans on Veterans Day, but on Memorial Day, we are honoring those who gave their last full measure of devotion to their nation. And it's okay to have a barbecue. It's okay to go buy a car at the hot car sale that's going on. All those things are okay. But we ask you to take a few minutes, and it's one of the reasons we ask you to join the team, is to take a positive step towards remembering, and then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon of Memorial Day, take a minute. Think about those people who gave everything. They say that some gave all and all gave some, and that's really, really true.
Absolutely. It's a day where for some of us, like Chuck said, it's a day off. But for those Gold Star families, every day is Memorial Day.
Yep.
And that is very evident when you meet some of these families. And it's not just the military Gold Star families. We've met many of the families over the years of the 5 police officers that were killed. And, I've met a couple of the daughters and wives of some of the families because they were there the first year after they had that. And Sergeant Smith's family, I believe, was out there that year.
So for listeners who don't know, 5-6 years ago.
God, has it been that long already?
It's been at least that long. And we had 5 police officers gunned down by a sniper. He was actually targeting the police. They took one of those robot
bomb.
Yeah, they strapped him up with some C4 and literally just blew everybody up.
And you want to what? Some people, you want to criticize me for thinking this? Damn good plan.
Yeah.
Damn good plan. Why put another life in jeopardy for, and I've said this since day one that I came on the radio, I will never acknowledge the name of any of those individuals that did that, because unlike our service members, where, like we said on the show, you die twice. Once when you stop living, the second time when your name gets last spoken
aloud.
I will never speak the name of an
we're-
individual.
We're not going to keep those people.
As far as I'm concerned, I know the action you did. I really don't care who you are, what you were, and like that. Your name means nothing to me, and the sooner we can erase your name from history, the better.
Yep.
That's just my own feeling. If you disagree with me, feel free to tag me, hit me up. I'll be happy to have that discussion with you.
Yeah.
But I will never utter your name on this show or any show that I'm ever on.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of wrap up, and we need to take this out, we are trying to promote Memorial Day. So what we're asking is a very simple ask. We're not asking for necessarily any money. If you want to do fundraising,
Please
you're
do.
more than welcome to do it. If you want to become a load carrier, you just have to raise $200. I'm asking people to donate $5 or $10. I want 100 people to donate $5 to my team. That would make me happy as a pig in slop, as they say. That's kind of my goal, and I know some of my friends have already given more than that, and I have a lot of friends who have a strong inability not to follow directions, but that's okay. We love them. We love them anyway. But join the JP and Kathy team. Join the Warrior Golf team. We're trying to grow these teams up. We're trying to do some really cool stuff. I'm very proud of the fact that this is the first year that we are a partner. When I say we, Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas, which also incorporates the Veteran Resource Center, the original resource center for our veterans serving a 40-county area around DFW. A great mission. We're solely underfunded. That's what our golf tournament was geared towards. Very pleased that we're going to do a telethon for Veterans Day.
Nice.
Can't wait for that, and all the proceeds will go to Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas. And let me say, that will be incredible. Between these three events, the golf tournament, the Carry the Load, and the telethon, we'll actually be able to get the VRC out of debt. Actually had to take out a $50,000 Small Business Association loan last year. And we'll get that paid off, and we will continue to operate. So we're extremely excited about all that. Hopefully JP, Kathy, and the crew are promoting their team. Join that team. If you're a golfer, join the Warrior Golf team and support, which actually will be part of our support for the North Texas
Warrior Golf Association.
There we go. Yeah, I never can remember exactly what it is. But join us. Think about Carry the Load. We're
At a minimum, come out and walk with us.
Come walk with us.
It's
Come
a lot
down
of
to
fun, and
Riverstone.
believe me, Chuck and I, we don't walk very fast.
No.
So you don't have to worry
We've been
about,
walking real slow this year.
it's more of like a gingerly pace.
Yes.
And
then we will actually be broadcasting a
say you were
special
a
edition
ginger?
of the show.
I can be a ginger under the right circumstances,
Hey,
but
Chuck,
that was
who's your partner, dude?
I found him on the curb, and I felt sorry for him.
Hey,
so
we
I brought
were
him up.
young back then, we needed rent was due.
We have entirely too much fun.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. Are we ready to go out?
Yeah, we're
'Cause
definitely
I can
ready.
babble on forever.
No.
No, not me, man. Yeah, no, I got
Well, make sure you tune in next week because we will be broadcasting live from the
Katie
Carry the
Ice
Load-
House.
Katie Ice House in that general area.
Yep.
Come out, see us. We'll be doing shout outs, all kinds of stuff. So with that, we're going to say hoorah and oorah and see you all next week at Carry the Load. Thanks so much for everyone and tuning in, and we'll catch you then. Bye now.
Mine eyes have seen